All about lenses. I just want to take a look at lenses for a second because sometimes they get taken for granted and they're a very important part of the camera. So let's just dive right in. Taking a look at the front, we see some information. We've got the brand, we've got the focal range, and this is a 35 millimeter sized lens. By 35 millimeter, I don't mean a focal length, I mean the image circle size is projecting. And we can see it's focal length range. It doesn't have a constant max aperture. It ranges from 3.5 to 4.5 depending on where you're zooming. As you zoom in, it's going to have a lower max aperture. Now, you also want to take a look at what its filter thread size is. This one says 77, so I've got a 77 millimeter filter on it. Moving along, we've got the focus ring, which has numbers on it. You should look at those numbers because they mean something. It shows you in feet and meters, typically. And obviously it has the infinity marker, and guess what? That means you're focusing to as far as it can go. That would be great for landscapes, wouldn't it? Then obviously you've got other numbers, which are, feet and meters. So this one's right now focused on 7 feet, 2 meters. If I took a measuring tape and measured from the lens to 7 feet, I can place my actor right there, and guess what? He'd be in the very center of the focal plane. So these numbers aren't going to lie to you. They're a great mechanical way of telling exactly where the focal plane is, as long as your lens isn't damaged and completely out of whack. And so you should want to take a look at these numbers, whether you're going to set markers on the floor and measure them out, or just for general purposes of keeping an eye on where your focal plane is, just so you have a backup in your head of what should and shouldn't be in focus. Next down, we've got the zoom ring. Obviously, if you're going to prime, you could ignore this, although I want to mention something important about using 35 millimeter size lenses like this on a smaller sensor camera, like on a crop sensor, or for better demonstration, a 4/3 size sensor, because 4/3 is exactly half the sensor size than 35 millimeter, which is what this is built for. So say you put this on a 4/3 camera, you literally will just double these numbers. So it's no longer 19 and it's no longer 35, it's 70 at the high end, and whatever 19 times 2 is, because I'm terrible at math. And basically, you always want to use 35 millimeter as the standard in reference. Like a 50 millimeter lens is a normal lens, but only if you're referring to it in 35 millimeter equivalent. So that's what that is. Next up, we got the mount. This is a Canon mount. Every maker makes their own mount. You can't just take this and mount it on a Nikon like this mount is. But there are usually adapters, but if it's an electronic lens, that makes it tougher. Some lenses mount easily to camera makers and some don't. You just got to look up and see if it's possible for your situation. Next up, we got to switch over to the older lens because it has our nice little aperture ring here. You can see we can control the aperture without any power whatsoever, unlike the electronic lens. As you can hear, clicks into place. These are photography lenses, so they want the, I'm a photographer, I guess I could say but yeah, photographers want the aperture to not move. They want it to lock in place and stay there. But the difference between these and video lenses is that video lenses don't have the clicks, because we sometimes want to change our aperture while we're shooting. Say we go from a high to a low scene, a highlight scene to a low light scene in the same shot, we might want to use the aperture to adjust for that. So that's one limitation, although some people have gotten these kind of lenses dismantled and put back together with, and taking out the click system, so they can actually use these more cinematically. So that is it for lenses. I want you to keep those nice little tidbits in mind. Lenses are a beautiful thing. Many a cinematographer consider lenses their pride and joy, and you should also take care and get good use out of them. Don't buy bad lenses, buy good lenses, and get some great images out of them. Take care, guys. Happy shooting.